Guys, this is NoCodeLimits here. So I welcome you all back here, and today we are going to see some more problems of Snakify which are meaning. So let's go on this, and yeah, so today we are going to solve some of the problems regarding for loop. So these are the problems: series 1, some of the 10 numbers, and etc. So before starting it, I want to tell you something basic about for loop in Python. So basically we can write for loop as such, like I would write first of all for loop, and then here condition, and after that semicolon, and after that here I can use print statement. So this is the syntax for writing the for loop in Python. So I would also like to tell you some more basics. So here we are using something range function. So it deals with basically sequence of numbers. So by default its index starts from 0. So if I can use my range function as 0, so if I would write at here 10, so if I use for loop and try to print numbers, so it will my numbers will be start printing from 0 to 9. So 10th index will not be included, even this is my first index. So if I can include add, I would be able to find 10 numbers. Yeah, so next way of writing range function is I can specify 2 arguments in the range function. So for example, I can specify here 1 and here last index as 10. So it means like my number start printing from 1 to 9. So next I can also use for range function range method as this way also. I can write here range, and then I would write 3 arguments in this, and this is the starting index, this is the ending index, and this is the incrementing. So basically we are incrementing with 1. So we can, if we can write here -1, then we are going from 1 to towards the negative indexes. So these things we have to keep in mind. So now let's solve the problems. So the first problem here is about series, and here the problem statement is quite very straightforward. We have given integers a and b, and we have to print numbers from a to b, and here condition we have given as a is less than or equal to b. So we have to print numbers from 1 to 10, and we have to include 10 in our output also. So I would remove all this stuff which is unnecessary here, and simply I would take 2 numbers input from the user. So as I have told you in the previous videos also how I can take an input from the user, so same logic I would apply here. And yeah, so now we are able to take input in our program. So now let's apply the condition. So I would use here for loop, and then simply I would write here iterator, and then in I would use here range function, and simply type here my starting index is 1, and I want my numbers printing from what, like here whatever input I have, the value for a is assigned as 1 and value for b is assigned as 10. So I want numbers, I also want 10 number including in my output. So as I have told you, like the last index would not be included in the output. So if I have to include this also, then I would write here as something b plus 1, like it would print numbers from 1 to 9. I want one number more, so I would add +1 in it. So if I would print my I, then I would be able to print numbers from 1 to 10. So see, let's run the code. Yeah, so we are getting correct output. So let's check our code for all the test cases. Is it working? No, it is not working for all the test cases. So let's see what is the problem. So basically we are taking input from the user and 2 numbers, and we are also trying to include we are starting from the 1. No, instead of 1 we have to starting from the this a. So whatever user will enter, we have to first number, we have to start from that number. Yeah, so So if I again run this, and if right now I would check my solution for all the test cases, here I can able to see the message as congratulations, and my solution is working for all the test cases. So now let's see the second problem. This problem is also similar as we have seen the first problem. So here the problem is that we have given two numbers and we have to print all the numbers inclusively. Inclusively means we have to include all the numbers. Either we have to print output in ascending order, or we have to print output in descending order. So I hope you know about ascending and descending. So ascending means from the, like I would start from the lower number and keep going towards a larger number. So exactly opposite of ascending is descending. So I would remove all these unnecessary. Yeah, so firstly I would do one thing here. I would take two numbers input from the user. So yeah, I have taken the two numbers input from the user. I would paste it here. Now I would add here condition. If my a is less than b, then I would follow this condition. Like in this case, my a is less than b. My a is 1 and b is 10, and my a is less than, so this condition is true. I would move towards this condition. I would add more condition here. For I in range, I would apply the previous question condition here. Like starting index will be a and ending index will be b plus 1, and simply I would print I, and then next condition what I would apply here, else for I in range I would apply a comma b minus 1 comma minus 1. Here you can see if my this a is greater than 1, so at that time my statement will be executed. So here you can simply calculate my it would start from the 10 as my a value is 10, then it would simply decrementing it with 1 1 1 1 1 1. So first it would print 10, then 9, 8, likewise. So I would print simply I here. So if I run my solution, so I getting same output, and if I check my code for all solution, then it is working fine. So yeah, let's move forward. And next problem statement is regarding sum of 10 numbers. So here the problem statement is given as such: 10 numbers are given in the input, read them and print their sum and use as new variables as you can. Few variables as you can. So I would remove all this unnecessary stuff from here and simply write here for I in range, and simply this is a new way of taking input. I would use here input function and then simply use colon, and simply see here we have to find all the number sum. So starting I would make a variable name a, and I would in my case I have made z, so I would initialize it with 0 and simply start with assignment operator. I would assign its value. Yeah, so whatever user will enter input, I would add that input in my answer. So I have to print its all number sum. So if I print z, so see here I would be able to get something. No, so what mistake I have done here? See here my I is in range int, whatever input user will enter input plus equal to. Okay, if what happen if I would enter here? No, I have to particularly specify I would be checking for 10 numbers. Yeah, so it is fine. Here you can see in the question, here is clearly given here me as I have to take 10 numbers in input, so I would write here in the range I have to take 10 numbers. If I would check my solution for all the test cases, I would be able to see here like my solution is working for all the test cases. So let's move toward the next problem. So next problem statement is also very straightforward. It is saying we have to print the sum of n numbers. So as we have done in the previous question, sum of 10 numbers, in this we have to print sum of n numbers. So I think that there is no need to explain problem. So the first line contains the integer n, and we have to check for all the numbers. So see here, I would remove this unnecessary stuff. User will enter the value of n, and using input function I would be take input and then make a variable, and I would assign it value as 0, and then use for loop in range, and then I would define here a value of n for that number of times my whatever number user will enter, for that many times my this for loop continuously work. And here I would write something as in a I would start appending my I, and then simply print I. If I run this, I am getting something as 9. Okay, so in this case okay, I would check my solution for all the test cases, even it is working for only one test case. If I would enter 0, so here what I have to do, instead of this I, whatever input user will add, I would start appending it to my A. If I do this, so I am getting this time again 9. Why? Let's see if I would manually calculate 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 13. I have to print this. Yeah, I have got the problem which I am facing. Basically, instead of whatever previously I am writing here input, instead of that I have to write here n. Basically we have to take 10 numbers. Here I can calculate 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 10 numbers I have to take, whatever user will enter value of n. I have to take run my for loop for till that many number of times. And I would simply take the numbers input from the user, and I would append it into a variable, and I will simply print that a variable. If I run this, I would getting output as 13. And now if I would check my solution for all the test cases, so see, it is working for all the test cases. Yeah, so let's move toward the next problem statement. Now we have to find the sum of the cubes. So we have a n number given, we have to print its cube, sum of the cubes. So I would remove this all necessary stuff, and simply using, first of all I would enter take a input from the user. Okay, so now I would do what I would, so again make a variable a and assign it to 0, and starting a for loop, I would write here, I would run my for loop 3 whatever value till user will enter. I would run my for loop that many number of times. So here I would do what I would simply append, I have to find the sum of the cube. Yeah, so whatever user will enter, I would multiply it with n. So if I run this, yeah, I haven't printed anything yet, so let me first print it. I have to print a. Yeah, if I run this, I'm getting 9. I would be multiplied with, instead of n I have to write here 3. Basically we are finding cube, so we are here. Yeah, so let's see. So I have got the problem. Basically I am getting problem here. So what I am trying to do here, my starting index of the number will be 1 and ending index is must be n plus 1. So if I do like this, if I would print here, I can able to see my correct output. So if I run my code for all the test cases, here my code is working for all the test cases. Why? Even user is entering 3, so we know 3q is what, 36. 3 into 3 is 9, 9 into 3 is 36, so we are getting correct output. So same thing. So here star star means its power. So let's move toward the next problem statement. In this problem statement we have to find the factorial of the number. So we know whatever n value we have given, we have to start from the 1 and till keep multiplying till the n number. I would remove this stuff and simply firstly take n number input from the user, and next what I would do, I would define here a variable a and starting index is 1, and then I would start here for loop, and my for loop starts starting from the 1 to n plus 1. It would start till n plus 1, and then simply I would do what I would keep on adding. I would keep on multiplying the number with the next number. So I would keep on multiplying with I. So if I would press shift tab, then I would print a. So let's see, if I would print it, I am getting 24. So let's check our solution for all the test cases. Yeah, it is working for all the test cases. So that is the solution. So basically we have to find the factorial, and factorial we can able to find like this. If I can see here, if I have a number like 4, factorial we have to find. So first of all I would start from 1 and keep on multiplying the number 1 into 2 into 3 into till 4. So I have written in the for loop range function, starting index is 1, so this one I can use here. I'm starting from the 1, and next I have written here something like n plus 1. So n value is 4. So as I have told you, like if I have to print numbers, for loop if it takes 2 arguments, then it means its starting index and the last index, end index, but it does not include that last index in output. So that's why we are adding here plus 1 with the n number. So basically we also want that 4 will be included. So 1 into 2 2, 2 into 3 6, 6 into 4 24. So we are getting correct output. So let's move towards the next problem statement, number of zeros. So here you can, firstly I would remove all this stuff, and here you can see we have to find the number of zeros, this one and 2. Here first of all we will take a number input from the user, and till that number we have to run our output, and I have to append, I have to find this how many zeros we have there in our program. So I would firstly take n number input from the user, and I would take a variable a and assign it with 0, and then I would start my for loop, and using range function I would write here I am starting from, I would check a number of times. So simply here I would do what, if I find somewhere 0, I would add a check condition here. If whatever input user has entered, if that input is equal to 0, if that input is equal to 0, then I would simply do what? I would append my a with 1, and next I would do what? I would simply print my a. So here I am getting 2 as I have 2 zeros in my input. So if I check my solution for all the test cases, it is working fine. So let's move toward the next problem statement. Next problem statement is about adding factorials. I have told you how I can be able to find factorial. So I have to individually add all the factorials, but here condition we have given here, we can't use math library, so we have to find our solution without using math library. So first of all I would take input from the user, so n equal to n, then using input function I can able to take input, and then simply do what next I would be doing here. I would assign value of a equal to 1 and b equal to 0, and using for loop here, my for loop will work till n. I would simply do here what I would multiply a with I, and then whatever I have, I would whatever value gets stored in the a means factorial of the number individual, so I would add it in with the b. So if I would print here b, here you can see I would be able to find the sum of the factorials. So why not, here I am able to get. So I would run this for, and I have to print here 1. If I would write here whatever user will enter input, we have to individually multiply and then add. Same thing we have to follow here, but why not it is working? Why not it is working? I have to starting index, I have to start from the 1. Yeah, why I have forgotten, like while finding the factorial I have to keep reminding like I have to start from 1 and I would go till n plus 1. So now if I would run, I am getting the correct output. Now if I would check my solution for all the test cases, it is working fine. Okay, so let's see next problem. So next problem is about ladder. Ladder means that thing which we use to climb on a tree. So it has several steps. So we have given here integer, whatever user will enter input, it is equal to or less than 9. So we have we have to print the n steps. So we can use separator and n arguments in print statement, and let's code it. So see here, user will have I would do what, I would take n, any number input from the user, and that number is n, and simply next what I would do, I would start a for loop here, and then simply using iterator and range function, my starting index would be 1 and I would go till n plus 1, and then adding colon. Next what I would do here, I have to use something nested loops. So nested loop means in the output you can able to see here something pattern is going to print. So in the first column we have only 1 1 1, and in the second row we have 1 2 2 2, and in the third column we have 3. So for this first loop is for my columns, we can say rows, and this next for loop is for columns. So I in range, so it would be starting from 1 till I plus 1. So if I print something here, like print what, I would print j. So as my value of j is 1, so first element in the first column is printed. So comma, I would use a separator as, and this and we have to use. And now after the for loop I would use a print statement. If I run, so I am able to get to print this pattern. So if I check my solution for all the test casing, it is working fine. So now let's see the next problem statement. Next problem statement is about lost card. So there was a set of cards with numbers from 1 to n. So simply we have to take input from the user, like so I would remove all this unnecessary stuff. So first of all I would take input from the user, and I would take capital N and input from the user. Yeah, so next what thing we have to consider here, one card is lost now. So we would make a variable name answer here, and I would assign it to 0. Suppose and at the last I am going to print my answer. So next what we have to do here, one card is lost. So we have to print the given remaining cards. So we have given number n followed by n minus 1 integers. So we would start here for loop here, for I in range till n minus 1. So we have given clearly this in quotient, we have to start our loop till n minus 1, and equal to, we would, whatever user will enter the input, I would simply assign that input to the n. So I would continue till if user will enter 5, so I would continue till n minus 1, if 5 minus 1 if we do, so I will able to take 4 inputs. So that's it, we have applied here. And then simply do what we are going to do next. Whatever answer we have, I would simply appending n2 and in it. Next again I would start a for loop. So next we have to do, we have to represent n minus 1 integers representing a number. So we have to print the number of lost cards also. So for printing the numbers, first of all we have to consider like how many numbers we have. So I would use a from the total by this I am able to find the total number of cards. Now I have to find, like, if one card is lost, then how many remaining. So for that I would consider here total number of cards. So that I would consider as n underscore total. So I would assign it to n. Suppose total number of cards is n, and then I would start a for loop 1 again, for I in range, and this would work till n, and using colon. So whatever my total is I have got, I would append simply I in it. So now what I would do here, I would simply whatever my total was there, I would subtract it from my answer, and simply print then my total. So yeah, let's run this. So it is showing me something unspotted operand type. So what problem is there? If I would again check my answer for I in range and total plus equal to I, we have to print here. Yeah, we haven't taken integer here, even we are taking input as string, so that's why our program is giving out error to us. Yeah, so why I am getting here wrong output? Yeah, have added an indentation here. Now if I would check my solution for all the test cases, yeah, it is working fine. So like this we can able to use here for loop and finding some solution using for loop. So if you find like this video is really helpful to you, so please share it with your friends and keep supporting and give me its feedback, like what do you need more, so what things should be improved in me and all. You can comment me its feedback. So that's it about this video. Thank you. Till then, bye.